Hey friends, what's up? And welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Zayin, Daf 7 of Masechta Hagiga. Friends, one sec. So on today's Daf, we continue talking about the Re'iyah, being what exactly does it mean, the Re'iyah, the Olas Re'iyah. And then we talk about shalmei simcha a little bit, which is a very, very interesting sugya. So friends, let's get started over here. And Daf Vav Mud Beis all the way at the bottom, Tanan Hosam. We learn over there. Where? In Peah. This might sound familiar to some people from the morning from Birchas HaShachar. So these are the things that don't have any particular amount to them, any particular measure to them. Peah, which is the portion of the field that you leave for the for poor people. So that officially doesn't have any proper size. V'abikurim, and new fruits, when you bring the new fruits to Yerushalayim, so that also doesn't have any official size, amount. Very ayon, as well as the korban Olas Re'iyah, Ugmilas Chasadim, as well as doing good deeds, charity, V'Talmud Torah, as well as Torah study. All of these things don't have any specific amounts to them. Alright. So we thought to say that when we say that the Olas Re'iyah doesn't have any amount, a cost that you have to spend on it, so I would think it doesn't have any amount, upper range, maximum, right? Ein lo shir, it doesn't have amount, spend as much money as you want. But there's a minimum amount, right? Of course, in our Mishnah, we had seen a machlokas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel about is the minimum 2 silver coins, is it 1 silver coin? Achabar Boshaya Bribi, Velimed and Tur Boshaya Bribi came and said, Hari ayon ein lo shir lo lamayla v'lo lamata. Says Boshaya Bribi that when it comes to Olas Re'iyah, so there's no amount to spend on it, whether a maximum amount, whether a minimum amount. But the rabbi said, that the Olas Re'iyah, like Beis Hillel, that the Olas Re'iyah is 1 silver coin and the Hagiga is 2 silver coins. Alright? So Midoraisa, there's no minimum or no maximum, but Midorabanan we say that the amount to spend on each one is either 2 or 1 silver coin. 2 for the Hagiga, 1 for the Re'iyah. My Hari'oyon. So what is it exactly? What exactly is the Re'oyon? Right? Is to be seen. Right? That in the Mishnah it says Re'oyon. It doesn't say Re'iyah. It doesn't just say Olas Re'iyah. It says Re'oyon. What is this Re'oyon? Which is a little bit of a different way of saying it. That being seen, so Rabbi Yochanan says that it's just talking about being seen in the Azar. Let's go weiter for a second. Whereas Rish Lakish says it means that being seen in the Azar, but with a korban. So Rabbi Yochanan seems to be saying that it's enough to just go to the Azar, even if it's without a korban. And Rish Lakish says you have to bring a korban. Now says the Gemara, so now to clarify, both Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish agree that on the first day of Yom Tiv, when the mitzvah is that you come and you bring an Olas Re'iyah and a shalmei Hagiga, so obviously then you're going to go to the Azara and you're going to bring a korban Olas Re'iyah. Ki plige, the machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish about it. Do you need to actually come with a sacrifice each time that you come to the Azara throughout the festival? Bishar Yemos Aregel is talking about the other days of the festival. Now, if throughout the festival a fellow comes and not only does he come, but he brings an animal with him for a sacrifice, so it says the Gemara, at least at this stage, that everyone agrees that we will accept it and we'll offer it. The question is, but what if he comes and he doesn't bring with him a korban? So Rabbi Yochanan says that's fine. That you can just be seen in the Azar, right? Ein la in shir, there's no amount, come as many times as you want, and and that's fine. And when every time you come, you don't need to bring with you epis of carbon. Come however many times you want. Rish Lakish Amar Rias Pnim Bikorbin Chol Emes Da'asi Tzarich La'asuye. That says Rish Lakish, no, that every time you come, sure, come as much as you want, but every time you come, you have to bring with you a Korban Olas Re'iyah. Eis Rish Lakish Rabbi Yochanan. Now Rish Lakish challenges Rabbi Yochanan. V'lo yiro ponai reikum. That the pasuk says, "V'lo yiro ponai reikum." Right. My face should not be seen empty-handed. No, Rabbi Yochanan, isn't it pretty clear that you have to always bring a korban whenever you come? V'lo yiro ponai reikum. It shouldn't be seen. Right? It shouldn't be seen empty-handed. Omelei bikar regel. Rabbi Yochanan says, yeah, on the first day, on the first day of Yom Tif, you shouldn't be seen empty-handed. You have to bring a korban. But after that, you don't have to bring a korban. Eisvei, again. Rish Lakish asks a kasha and Rabbi Yochanan, that the Brisa says that I should not be seen empty-handed. Bizvachim, with animals, with sacrifices. Wait, how do you know it has to be animals? Maybe it could be birds. Maybe it could be flower offerings. Vidinu, and it makes sense that it's logical to say that dafka we're talking about zvachim, right? Animals that are slaughtered with a knife, right? Meat, sheep, things like that. V'dinu nemer chagiga lehejiv nemer re'iyah legavo. No, so for the regular people, they have a shalmei chagiga, and it also says for God that there's an olas re'iyah. Ma chagiga amur lehejiv zvachim, and just like the korban chagiga. The shalmei chagiga by regular people is zvachim, is an animal that's slaughtered, with a knife, as opposed to, as Rashi points out, birds have malika that they slaughter in a different method involving a fingernail. Afriya amur legavo zvachim. So also the shalmei, also the olas re'iyah, when it says v'lo yiro ponai reikam, that it shouldn't be seen empty-handed. The olas re'iyah is also animals. Mine zvachim. So Rumayin zvachim, right? So when it says, okay, fine, so we bring these animals for God. So we say olos. It's referring to a korban ola that goes entirely on the mizbeach for God. Atomer olos ve'enu l'shlamim. Wait, how do you know? We're talking about that the re'iyah is dafka in ola that goes entirely to God. Maybe it's taka shlamim. Maybe the re'iyah is a shlamim, that part of it goes to on the mizbeach, part of it goes to the kohen, part of it goes to the person who brings it. So we say no. It's talking about an olah v'dinu. It makes sense. Nemer chagiga lehedjit v'nemer re'iyah legavo. It says that for a regular person that we have a chagiga, God has a olas re'iyah. Well, has a re'iyah. Ma chagiga amur lehedjit b'ro'i lo. Just like the chagiga by the regular people, something that's fit for them. Safriya amur legavo b'ro'i lo. So also the re'iyah that is said for God is what's fit for Him, i.e. a korban olah that goes entirely on the mizbeach for Him. And also it makes sense that your table shouldn't be full, and the table of your master is empty. Right? It wouldn't be right that you're getting all these korban shlamim and God's table is empty. Rather, you have shalmei chagiga for you and the olas re'iyah is for God. So what do we see? So we see there also that you're offering these korbanos. That when you come to the Beis Hamikdash, you're offering these korbanos. Amalei bikar regel. So then Rabbi Yochanan responds again. That is dafka talking about on the first day of Yom Tiv. On the first day of Yom Tiv, you have to come with a korban, but after that, you can just come to the Beis Hamikdash and you don't need to bring with you a korban. Another kasha to Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda Omer says the Brisa that Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda says Shalosh Regalim Bashane in Stav Yisrael Lalos Beregel, that there are 3 times a year that the Yidden are commanded to make a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, for Pesach, for Shavuos, and for Sukkot. They aren't seen in partial groups. Mishum Shenamar, as the pasuk says, Kol Zuchorcha, all of your males. and they also are not seen empty-handed, so that my face should not be seen empty. So again, we see that you have to come with korbanos. So again, Rabbi Yochanan responds that is talking about the on the first day you have to come with korbanos, but after that you can come even if you don't bring with you a korban. Rabbi Yochanan the Rish Lakish. Now Rabbi Yochanan taka asked the kasha against Rish Lakish. Right, the pasuk says that it shall be seen, but you can also read it yireh, to see. And therefore, God says that just like He sees us, and He doesn't have to bring any korbanos, it's free. Also, when you are seen before me, you don't always have to bring a korban with you. So rather, right, we had said earlier that everyone agrees that if you show up and you bring a korban, so it will be accepted. Right? We had said earlier that both Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan agree that look, if you come with a korban, then givaldik. The kasha is, what if you come without a korban? Rabbi Yochanan says it's okay. Rish Lakish says it's not okay. But now the Gemara changes its tune. It says, look, if during Chol Hamoed, right, a fellow comes to the Beis Hamikdash and he doesn't bring with him a korban, everyone agrees he can come and he can be seen before God, and that's fine, as it says, right? Just like God he doesn't bring any sacrifices. Also, you can come without any sacrifices. Ki plige, where they argue, the asav ha'isi, it's where Yitaka comes and he brings with him a korban. Rabbi Yochanan the Amri as panim ba'azara. So when Rabbi Yochanan says that after day 1. So you can come without korbanos. It means you have to come without korbanos. Look, you can come as much as you want to the Azara, but hala korban yesh lashir. But there's a maximum amount of korbanos that you offer. And if you come to the Beis Hamikdash in subsequent days, you're not going to be bringing a korban with you. For Rish Lakish Amar, rias panim bikorban. Whereas Rish Lakish says that when you come to the Beis Hamikdash, you're seen with a korban, you bring with you a korban, and therefore, tafilu korbanami ein lo shir, that even the sacrifice itself does not have a particular amount. And therefore, when you come on subsequent days, you bring a korban as well. Eizve, so now Rabbi Yochanan asks a kasha against Rish Lakish, that the pasuk says that you might not want to go to your friend's house too much, because if you go to your friend's house too much, you might get takabur. So therefore, the same inyan applies, right? Rabbi Yochanan is saying that if you come to the Beis Hamikdash, don't bring too many korbanos. Like chill out a shtickle. After the first day, you don't bring korbanos. So you say, no, you could say that's talking about chatoses and oshams. Yeah, we don't want you to bring too many korban chatoses and too many korban oshams, because, those aren't the good kind of korbanos that you want to be bringing. Rav Levi, it's like Rav Levi Rami, right? Because obviously you only bring a korban chatas if you sin, right? So obviously, right? So we say with those, chill out, don't bring so many korban chatas. And oshams, guilt offerings. Rav Levi Rami, Rav Levi taka asa kasha. He noticed on the one hand, ksiv, the pasuk says, it says, chill out a shtickle, don't go so much to your friend's house. Like kilu, don't bring so many korbanos. And also the pasuk says, avu beischa be'olas. I'll come to your house and I'll bring korban olas. So what is it? Should I chill out a shtickle or should I not chill out a shtickle? So lakasha kan bechatos v'ashomus kan be'olas v'shlomim. So it depends. If we're talking about a korban chatas and a korban osham, so yeah, you don't want to be bringing too many guilt and sin offerings. However, but korban olas, korban shlomims, givaldig, the more the merrier. Bring it on, keep it coming. Tanam yochi v'takulin and b'rayso oichit. Hoke ragchem v'beisrecha. Chill out a shtickle, bechatos v'ashamos, with sin offerings and guilt offerings. Hakosu medaber, the pasuk is talking about atomim bechatos v'ashamos v'enu ba'olos v'shlomim. And the Gemara says, wait, how do we know we're talking about sin offerings and guilt offerings? Maybe we're talking about olas and shlomims. When it says that I will come to your house with olas and I will bring pledges. So I read olas v'shlomim omer. So the pasuk is talking about korban olas and korban shlomim to bring to the Beis Hamikdash. So what does it mean then? Chill out a shtickle. Yeah, chill out on the sin offerings and the guilt offerings, but the olas and shlamims, bring it on, buddy. And also, right, so the brisa that we quoted earlier, right, it said, right, kol zechurcha, that you shouldn't be brought in like, partial groups. So Rav Yosef remember man de isle asar banim lo lisku idno chamisha l'mocher chamisha. So Rav Yosef says, what does it mean that you shouldn't come in halves? It means, let's say Ruvain's got 10 kids, Kanai Nahar. So he shouldn't bring 5 of them today and 5 of them tomorrow. Abai says to Rav Yosef, Pshita. Obviously, you shouldn't bring 5 today and 5 tomorrow. Hey, minayu mashvis lu poshin, hey, minayu mashvis loses the reason. I don't understand. You know what? If you bring 5 today and 5 tomorrow, what does that say? It says that 5 of them are excited to do mitzvahs and 5 of them are lazy. Obviously that's not what we want to happen. So then what are we saying? What's the pasuk of kol zechurcha when it says don't come in halves? So then what is it teaching? If it's obvious, if it's obvious that you shouldn't bring half today and half tomorrow. So it's like the acherim, the tanyas, when the Bryce acherim say acherim, which is Rav Meir. Hamakamitz v'amitzarif nechoshes v'abursi, as we learned the other day, that a fellow picks up excrement for tanning hides, and mitzarif nechoshes, somebody who makes copper, and a person who works at a tanner. These are people that, because of the nature of their work, they have a very foul odor all the time. So p'tur min hariyah, they are potter from being ola regel. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, kol zechorcha, all of your males. Somebody who's able to come with everybody else. Yotzu elu, to the exclusion of these fellows, that they can't come with everybody else because of the foul odor, because of the nature of their work. So it's difficult for them to be around other people, or the opposite is really probably more accurate. Or it's difficult for other people to be around them, so they shouldn't come. Because it's hard for them to be with everybody else. And not only that, they shouldn't even come in smaller groups. Maybe you'll say that all the tanners, they should at least be all regular together without everybody else. No, we don't come b'chatzoyin, we don't come in little small groups, and therefore they simply should stay home and not come at all. Friends, now we get to a very interesting Mishnah that we start talking a shtickle about shalmei simcha, which is a very interesting inyan. Olos b'moed boz min achulin. Okay, so we said that the korban olas during the Bamoid, okay, let's say Chol Moed, so they come from Chulin, from they have to come from just regular non-consecrated money, just regular money. Vashlomim, and if you're bringing a korban shlomim, that when it comes to shalmei simcha, that when it comes to the shalmei simcha, right, we had said that there's like 3 kinds of korbanos that you offer on the festival. There's Olas re'iyah, there's shalmei Hagiga, and there's shalmei simcha. And we said that when it comes to shalmei simcha, the shlomim that you bring just to be happy, so that's talking about just that you should be eating meat, you should be eating basar on the festival. And that could be anything. It could be if you have nidar minadafos, if you pledge to bring korbanos throughout the year, so you can eat that for shalmei simcha. You don't actually have to technically offer any shalmei simcha. If you have other ways of eating meat, and you'll have plenty of meat to eat over the festival, so that's fine, right? So we say meiser, if you have money for meiser sheni, right? You have a field, Baruch Hashem, you separate truma, you separate meiser, you separate meiser sheni, which you then bring to Jerusalem and eat in Jerusalem. So let's say you transfer your crop onto money, and you bring the money to Jerusalem. You can use that money to purchase meat to eat on the festival. Right, Vashlom min meiser, right? Shalmei simcha, you can use meiser sheni money. Yom Tov shel Pesach, the first day of Pesach. The Gemara is going to explain why we're specifically mentioning Pesach per se, but the first day of Pesach, Kilu, the first day of Yom Tov, B'Shami Omim Min Achulin, that the Olas Re'iyah, the Shalmei Hagiga, need to davke come from Chulin, right? Because they're obligations, and any obligatory korban, you have to use sort of just regular non-consecrated money. Basil Omim Min Meiser, Basil says you can even use money of Meiser Sheni. We're going to have to explain why. Yisraelim, right? Kilunan Kohanim. So when it comes to Shalmei Simcha, For shalmei simcha, they can use if they have any pledges that they made for korbanos throughout the year. So nedarim, nedavis, uvamaiser behema, right? If they have animals, so every 10th one, they have to bring they offer as a sacrifice, and that sacrifice can be used for shalmei simcha to be enjoying yourself over the festival of Akhanim. When it comes to priests, bechatos v'ashamos, right? If a fellow brings a sin offering, so the Kohanim eat the meat. So, and guilt offerings. So the meat that they receive from those offerings can contribute to their rejoicing. Uvibuchor, right? The firstborn animal goes to the Kohen, and the Kohen offers it as a sacrifice. Uvichos v'shok, and the breast and the leg that they get from shlamim. Avalo be'ofes v'lo be'menachis, but not from birds and not from flower offerings. That doesn't cut it. It says the Gemara, lo olos b'moed hu debos menachulin habiyomtiv menamaiser. So the Gemara says, I don't understand. What does the Mishnah say at the beginning? It says olos b'moed ba'menachulin. That on Chol HaMoed, if you bring a korban ola, so it has to come from chulin, implying, right, from unconsecrated money. But implying that on the first day of Yom Tiv, on the festival itself, it can come from Meiser Sheni money. Again, Ela Olus B'Moed U'Debos Menachulin. What? Specifically, the Korban Olas during Chol HaMoed need to come from Chulin. Habi Yom Tiv Min HaMeiser. But on Yom Tiv, you would be able to use Meiser Sheni money to purchase animals. Amai? Why would that be? It's an obligation on the first day of Yom Tov bring in Olas, Re'iyah, and Shalmei, Hagiga. Well, here we're talking about Olas, so Olas, Re'iyah. And something that's obligatory, an obligatory offering, must come from Chulin money, not from Meiser Sheni. V'chitema, Hakamash Malon, De Olos, Bamoed, Baos, B'Yom Tovin, and Baos. But then the Gemara says, well, maybe what the implication is that, well, a korban ola can only be offered on Chol HaMoed. You're not allowed to offer a korban ola on Yom Tiv. Kiman, who's that like? A Beis Shammai. Well, then that would be like Beis Shammai to Tananis. We learn in Beitza. Beis Shammai Omrim says Beis Shammai, Mevin Shlomim ve'ein tzomchen alein, that on Yom Tiv you're allowed to offer a korban Shlomim, that you're able to eat and you're able to partake in. You can offer a korban shlamim on Yom Tiv, ve'in somchen aleim, but you wouldn't lean upon them before slaughtering it. Avalo olis, but you can't offer a korban ola. Whereas Beis Hillel says mevin shlamim va'olos v'somchen alein, whereas Beis Hillel says that you can offer a korban shlamim as well as a korban ola, and you can lean on them. So therefore, how come the Mishnah is saying that specifically on Chol HaMoed, a korban ola has to come from chulin? What about on Yom Tiv? Yom Tiv, the ola doesn't have to come from chulin; it can come from Meiser Sheni. And if you're going to say maybe the implication is that, well, on Yom Tiv you're not bringing them at all, but that would be like Beis Shammai, which of course we want to pass like Beis Hillel, not like Beis Shammai. So Chasoy Mechso v'Achikatoni. The Gemara says, well, the Mishnah is missing a few words. This is how you have to understand the Mishnah. Olos, when it comes to a korban ola, nidarim, unidavos, different kinds of pledges that you made to bring korbanos, ba'moed, so on Chol HaMoed, baos, so you can offer them on Chol HaMoed, b'yom tiv, einon, wait, where am I? Olos, nidarim, unidavos, ba'moed, baos, b'yom tiv, einon, baos. Exactly. I'm sorry, where am I? Where am I? Olos nedarim unedavos b'moed baos b'yom tov ein baos. Okay, fine. So if you made a pledge throughout the year, right, that you're going to bring a korban ola, so you can offer that on Chol HaMoed, but you cannot offer it on Yom Tiv, right? Kilo a neder and a dava, you would not offer a neder or a dava on Yom Tiv, right? So b'moed baos, they come to Chol HaMoed, b'yom tov ein baos, they are not offered on Yom Tiv. V'olas re'iyah ba afilu b'yom Tiv. But when it comes to Olas Re'iyah, however, that, right, you dafka do, the mitzvah is to do it on the first day of Yom Tiv, and you can offer it even on Yom Tiv. Uchshuba, and both when it comes to the Nedarim and the Nedavos, and when it comes to Olas Re'iyah, Eina ba ela min achulin. It dafka needs to be from chulin. B'shalmei simcha. When it comes to shalmei simcha, b'anaf min ha-meiser, you can even use meiser sheni, money, when it comes to shalmei simcha. V'chagigas yom tiv arishin shal Pesach, and when it comes to the korban chagiga of the first day of Pesach, and the Gemara is going to ask, we're going to start with that tomorrow, that, why dafka Pesach? Why are we dafka mentioning Pesach? But basically the chagiga of the first day of Yom Tiv. Beishamei omrim min achulin. Beishamei says it has to come from chulin. Uveisilel omrim min ha-meiser. It can be offered from money of meiser sheni. Okay, fine. The Gemara is going to explain why. Tanan Yachid, we also learn a brayso like this: Olas and Nedarim and Nedavos b'moed bos b'yom tovin and bos. Right, that when it comes to Nedarim and Nedavos, they could be offered on Yom Tiv, Korban Olav and Neder and Nedava could be offered on during Chol HaMoed, but not on Yom Tiv. Olas Re'iyah, ba afilu b'Yom Tiv, and in Olas Re'iyah you can offer even on Yom Tiv. Uchshiba in a ba elam and achulin, and these Korban Olas, the Avka have to be from chulin. V'shalmei simcha, when it comes to shlomim of simcha, of rejoicing, of enjoying the holiday, boy and af min ha-meiser can even come from meiser sheni. V'chagigas yom tov rishon shal Pesach, and the korban chagiga of the first day of Yom Tov of Pesach, beishamei omim min ha-chulin. Beishamei says it can be offered from chulin. V'eisil omim, it has to be offered from chulin. V'eisil omim says beisil min ha-meiser, you can even offer it from money of meiser sheni. The Gemara is going to have to explain why. Friends, we're going to stop here. That was Daf Zayin of Masechta Chagiga. What did we talk about? We saw a machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish about, is there sort of a maximum for the korbanos that you bring, right? That says Rabbi Yochanan that, after the first day when you come to the Beis HaMikdash, so you come just by yourself, you don't, right? So the first way to understand it was that according to Rabbi Yochanan, you don't have to bring korbanos when you come subsequently. And Rish Lakish says you do have to bring korbanos. According to the second way to understand it is that no, Rabbi Yochanan says that you're not allowed to bring korbanos after day one, whereas Rish Lakish says that you can even bring korbanos after day one. And then we got to a new Mishnah where we explain that a korban ola has to come from chulin. When it comes to shalmei simcha, the meat that you eat for rejoicing, it can even be bought with the money of meiser sheni. You can even use money for that. And when it comes to the korban chagiga that you bring on the first day of Yom Tiv, so we see machlokas b'Shamei and Beisil. Beishamei says that it has to come from chulin. Beisil says it can come from meiser sheni. We're going to explain why tomorrow, friends. That was Daf Zayin of Masechta Chagiga. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.